The rescue ship arrived on the 15th day. It came down from the sky like a silver bird, cutting through the clouds above Noxeek. The survivors gathered on the hill and watched it land in a clearing below. There were tears. There was laughter. There were hugs that lasted too long because everyone had thought they might never see another human face again. The rescue team brought food and medicine and warm blankets. They treated wounds and took blood samples. They asked questions about what happened and wrote everything down. Everyone was so busy being saved that for a while, nobody noticed the small gray-green creature sitting at the edge of the camp. Except Yuna. She sat with Bomi while the others celebrated. The cub was quiet, watching all the strange new humans with careful eyes. It did not understand what was happening. It only knew that Yuna was going somewhere, and it could not follow. "I do not want to leave you," Yuna said softly. Her hand rested on Bomi's head, feeling the soft fur between the cub's ears. "You know that, right? If I could take you with me, I would." Bomi pressed its head against her palm. That warm, rumbling sound came from its chest again. The sound that meant safety. The sound that meant love. One of the rescue team members, a scientist named G1, walked over. He had been watching Yuna and Bomi all afternoon. Now he sat down beside them, keeping a safe distance from the cub. "I have been studying the Velki since we landed," he said. "Reading the reports from your original mission. What you have done here. It should not be possible." "What do you mean?" Yuna asked. G1 looked at Bomi with wonder in his eyes. "The Velki are territorial predators. They have killed 3 other crew members on this planet. They have attacked every drone we sent near their hunting grounds. They do not make bonds with other species. They certainly do not protect them. Bomi is different." "Yes, but why?" G1 leaned forward. "I have a theory. The Velki are intelligent, maybe even more intelligent than we first thought. They can read emotions, body language, intent. They know when something is a threat and when something is not." Yuna nodded slowly. She had felt that too. The way the pack leader had studied her. The way Bomi always seemed to know how she was feeling. "But here's what I find most interesting," G1 continued. "When you saved that cub, you were hurt. You were scared. You had every reason to be selfish, to think only about your own survival. Instead, you risked your life for a creature you did not know. A creature that could have killed you. It was just a baby. It was hurt. I could not leave it there." G1 smiled. "Exactly. That is what makes humans different. Empathy. Not just feeling what others feel, but acting on it. Helping when there is no reason to help. Caring when caring is dangerous." He looked at Bomi. The cub had closed its eyes, still pressed against Yuna's hand. "I think the Velki sensed that in you. They recognized something in your actions that went beyond survival instinct. Something that made you special to them." Yuna thought about the pack leader. The way it had looked at her with those intelligent yellow eyes. The way it had accepted her presence among them. "They were not going to kill me, were they?" That day when they surrounded the camp. G1 shook his head. "I do not think so. I think they came to see you. To understand you. And when Bomi defended you, when a member of their own pack chose a human over them, they realized that whatever you are worth protecting." Tears filled Yuna's eyes. She had been so scared that day. But maybe she never needed to be. "What does this mean?" she asked. "For us? For humans?" G1 was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke carefully. "I think it means that humanity has something special. Not weapons or technology or intelligence. Something else. A light inside us that even alien predators can see. A warmth that reaches across species boundaries." He looked at the rescue ship in the clearing below. "When my report gets back to the Galactic Council, everything will change. We have been trying to prove for years that humans belong among the stars, that we deserve our place alongside older, more powerful species. We look back at Yuna and Bomi. This is proof, not of our strength or our danger, proof of our hearts. The sun was setting now, painting the sky in colors that Yuna would never forget. Orange and pink and deep purple, like the planet was saying goodbye. It was time to leave. Yuna stood slowly. Bomi stood too, looking up at her with those big yellow eyes. The cub knew. Somehow, it knew. I have to go now, Yuna said. Her voice broke on the words. My people need me, and your people need you. Bomi made a small sound, sad, confused, lost. You will be okay. The pack accepted you again. They will take care of you. Yuna kneeled down and pressed her forehead against Bomi's. But I will never forget you. Never. You saved my life. You showed me that love can exist even in the strangest places. For a long moment, they stayed like that. Human and alien, connected by something that had no name. Then, from the edge of the camp, Yuna heard something. A soft call. She looked up and saw them. The pack. They had come to the edge of the trees, watching, waiting. The pack leader stepped forward. It made the same gentle sound it had made on the hill. Not a threat. An invitation. Bomi turned to look at its pack. Then back at Yuna. The cub was torn. 2 families. 2 loves. An impossible choice. Yuna made the choice for it. Go, she said softly. Go home, Bomi. This is where you belong. She stood up and stepped back. Away from the cub. Away from the bond they had built. Bom, I did not move at first. It sat there, looking at her with those yellow eyes full of feelings that words could not describe. Then, slowly, it walked toward the pack. The pack leader bent its head and touched noses with Bomi. The other adults gathered around, welcoming the young one back. They were a family again, complete. But before they disappeared into the jungle, the pack leader looked at Yuna one last time. It bowed its head. Just a little. Just enough to show respect, gratitude, something that might have been love. Then they were gone. Shadows in the trees. Ghosts in the fading light. Yuna watched them go. Tears ran down her face, but she was smiling. Taiho came to stand beside her. He put a hand on her shoulder. You okay? He asked. Yes, she said. And she meant it. I am okay. They walked to the rescue ship together. The other survivors were already on board, ready to leave this planet behind. Ready to go home. As the ship rose into the sky, Yuna looked down at the jungle one last time. Somewhere down there, a gray-green cub was running through the trees with its pack. It would grow up to be strong and fast and deadly, but it would also remember the strange creature who smelled different and talked too much. The human who saved it when no one else would. The bond they shared when they were both alone and scared and far from home. Years later, when Yuna was old and her story had spread across the galaxy, scientists would come to her with theories and questions. They would talk about empathy signatures and cross-species bonding, and the unique nature of human emotion. She would listen politely. She would answer their questions. But in her heart, she knew the truth was simpler than any theory. She had been kind. That was all. In a universe full of fear and danger, kindness was rare. Kindness was precious. Kindness was the one thing that creatures from any world could understand. And sometimes, kindness was enough to change everything. The Valky of Noxeek never attacked another human after that day. Researchers who came later found them curious but peaceful. The pack would watch from the shadows, yellow eyes glowing in the dark. But they never hunted the strange visitors from the stars. They remembered. And somewhere in the jungle, an old Velky with gray-green fur would sometimes sit on a hill and look up at the night sky. It would make a soft sound, almost like humming, almost like a lullaby, almost like it was calling someone home. The fever broke on the morning of the 11th day. Yuna woke up feeling weak but clear. The strange heat that had been burning inside her was finally gone. Her body had won the fight against the alien pathogen. She was going to live. Bomi was sleeping next to her, curled into a small ball of gray-green fur. The cub's injured leg was almost completely healed now. In a few more days, it would be able to run and hunt like any other Velki. Yuna sat up slowly. Her muscles were sore from days of not moving. Her stomach was empty and hurt with hunger. But she was alive. That was what mattered. She found some fruit that Bomi had brought her and ate it carefully. Her stomach accepted it. Good. She drank water from a large leaf. Also good. Step by step, she would get her strength back. The communication device buzzed. Taio's voice came through stronger than before. Yuna, we are close. Maybe half a day away. Can you describe where you are? She looked out of her cave. The jungle spread out below her, green and endless. In the distance, she could see smoke rising from where pieces of the Hanyul had fallen. I am on a hill with many rocks. There is a waterfall to the east. I can see 3 tall trees with blue bark directly south of me. I think I know where that is. We passed similar trees yesterday. Stay where you are. We are coming. Hope filled Yuna's chest. After all this time, after everything that had happened, help was finally coming. Taio, there is something I need to tell you. I have a friend here. A Velki cub. It has been taking care of me. Silence. Then Taiho's voice, confused and worried. A Velki? Yuna, those things are dangerous. We have seen them hunt. They killed one of our group members who wandered too far. You need to get away from it. Yuna looked at Bomi. The cub was awake now, watching her with those big yellow eyes. It had saved her life. She was sure of that. It is different, she said. This one is different. I saved it when it was hurt. It has been protecting me ever since. Another silence. Just be careful. We will be there soon. The connection ended. Yuna spent the morning getting stronger. She walked short distances. She stretched her muscles. Bomi walked beside her, always close but never in the way. The cub seemed to understand that she was recovering. By afternoon, she was sitting on a rock outside the cave, watching the jungle below. Taio and the others would arrive soon. Everything was going to be okay. Then Bomi made a sound she had never heard before. A low, deep warning sound that vibrated through the air. Yuna turned around. Her heart stopped. They had come. The pack. 7 adult Velki emerged from the jungle shadows. They were huge, much bigger than Bomi. Their dark green fur blended with the trees, making them look like moving shadows. Their yellow eyes glowed in the afternoon light. The biggest one, the same one that had watched Yuna on her first night, stepped forward. It was the leader. She could tell by the way the others moved around it. This creature was old and smart and deadly. Yuna stood slowly. Every part of her body screamed to run. But she knew running would only make things worse. She had to stay calm. She had to think. Bomi moved in front of her. The cub, small and young and still healing, planted itself between Yuna and the pack. Its fur stood up along its back. A growl came from its small throat. It was warning its own kind to stay away. The pack leader tilted its head. Its eyes moved from Bomi to Yuna and back again. Something passed across its face. Confusion, maybe. Or curiosity. One of the other adults growled and stepped forward. It was ready to attack. Yuna could see the muscles in its legs getting ready to jump. The Bomi growled louder. The young cub took a step toward the approaching adult. It was tiny compared to the bigger Velki. It had no chance in a real fight. But it did not back down. The adult stopped. It looked at Bomi with what seemed like surprise. The pack leader made a sharp sound. All the adults became still. They watched. They waited. Minutes passed. Nobody moved. Yuna barely breathed. She could hear her own heart beating too loud in her ears. Then something amazing happened. The pack leader lowered its head. Just a little bit. Just enough to show that it was not going to attack. The other adults followed. One by one, they lowered their heads too. They were not submitting to Yuna. She understood that. They were acknowledging something. Accepting something. Bomi had chosen her. And the pack was going to respect that choice. The leader looked at Yuna directly. Its yellow eyes held intelligence far beyond what she expected from any animal. It was studying her, reading her, trying to understand what she was. Then it made a soft sound, almost gentle, almost like a question. Yuna did not know what to do, so she did what felt right. She bowed her head, just a little, just enough to show respect. The leader blinked slowly. Then it turned and walked back into the jungle. The other adults followed, disappearing into the shadows one by one. Bomi relaxed. The fur along its back went flat again. It turned to look at Yuna and made a small, happy sound. Yuna fell to her knees. The fear and tension left her body all at once, leaving her shaking. She had just faced the deadliest predators on this planet. And she had survived. Because of a cub. Because of a bond she never expected to form. She hugged Bomi gently. The cub pressed against her, rumbling that warm sound she had come to love. "You brave little thing," she whispered. "You protected me. You actually protected me from your own family." Bomi just rumbled louder. Later that afternoon, Yuna heard voices in the jungle below. Human voices. "Yuna! Yuna, where are you?" Taiho. He had made it. "Up here," she called back. "On the hill." They came through the trees minutes later. Taiho was leading 3 others, all survivors from different parts of the ship. They looked tired and dirty, but alive. When Taiho saw Yuna, his face broke into a huge smile. "You made it," he said, running up to hug her. "You actually made it." Then he saw Bomi, and he froze. The cub was standing beside Yuna, watching the newcomers with careful eyes. It did not growl. It did not run. It just waited. That is a Velki," Taiho said slowly. "Its name is Bomi," Yuna said. "And it saved my life." Taiho stared at the cub for a long moment. Then he shook his head in wonder. "Only you, Yuna. Only you could make friends with a predator." She laughed. It felt good to laugh. "What do we do now?" one of the other survivors asked. A woman named Hana with short hair and a cut on her cheek. "Now we wait for rescue," Taiho said. "The signal we built is working. A ship should be here in a few days." A few days. Then they would leave this planet. Leave the jungle. Leave the Velki. Leave Bomi. Yuna looked down at the cub. Bomi looked back at her. Those yellow eyes held something deep. Something that went beyond animal instinct. "What will happen to it when we leave?" Hannah asked softly. She had seen the bond to Yuna did not answer. She did not have an answer. For now, she was just glad to be alive. Glad to have friends, both human and not. The future could wait until tomorrow. 1 week passed on the planet called Noxeek. The cub's leg was healing well. Yuna changed the bandages every day and put fresh medicine on the wound. The little creature let her do it now without crying or pulling away. It trusted her. She started calling the cub Bomi. It was a simple name that meant spring in Korean. The cub seemed to like it. Its ears would move forward whenever Yuna said the name. Bomi followed her everywhere now. When Yuna went to find water, Bomi came. When Yuna looked for food, Bomi came. When Yuna sat on the rocks to watch for rescue ships, Bomi sat beside her. They were never apart. The other Velki still watched from the shadows. Yuna saw their eyes sometimes, glowing in the dark between trees. But they did not attack. They did not even come close. It was like they were waiting for something. Yuna did not know what. She talked to Taiho every day through the broken communication device. He had found 3 other survivors. They were building a camp on high ground and working on a signal to call for rescue. Help would come, he said. They just had to stay alive until then. Yuna believed him. She had to believe him. But on the 8th day, something went wrong. She woke up feeling strange. Her head hurt more than usual. Her body felt hot and cold at the same time. When she tried to stand up, the cave spun around her. "No," she whispered. "Not now. Please, not now." She checked herself with the medical scanner. The numbers on the screen made her stomach drop. Fever, high fever, and something else. An unknown pathogen in her blood. An alien sickness that her human body did not know how to fight. This was always the danger of new planets. New bacteria. New viruses. Things that humans had never seen before. Things that human medicine did not know how to cure. She had some basic medicine in her emergency bag. She took all of it. But she knew it might not be enough. BOM, I knew something was wrong. The cub stood close to her, making small worried sounds. It pushed its nose against Yuna's hand. Its yellow eyes looked up at her with concern. "I am okay," Yuna lied. "Just a little sick. I will be fine." She was not fine. The day passed slowly. Yuna could not move much. Every time she tried to stand, she fell back down. The fever made her see things that were not there. Shadows moving. Lights dancing. Her mother calling her name from far away. She tried to contact Taiho, but her hands were shaking too much to work the device. The words came out wrong when she spoke. Everything was wrong. By night, the fever was burning her from inside. She lay on the cold stone floor of the cave, too weak to even cover herself with her jacket. Sweat ran down her face. Her breathing was fast and shallow. Bomi did not leave her side. The cub lay next to her, pressing its warm body against hers. It made soft sounds all night. Not purring exactly. More like humming. A gentle sound that somehow made the darkness less scary. The second day of sickness was worse. Yuna stopped being able to tell what was real and what was fever dream. She saw the Haniel flying whole again in the sky. She saw her mother making soup in their kitchen in Bizen. She saw strange creatures with many eyes walking through the jungle. But through all of it, she saw Bomi. The cub never left. It brought her water in a large leaf, carefully carrying it in its mouth. It brought her fruit that she was too sick to eat. It lay beside her when she shook with cold, and on top of her feet when she burned with heat. On the 3rd day, the coughing started. It came from deep in her chest. Hard, painful coughs that hurt her ribs and made her whole body shake. Each cough felt like it would break her apart, and then something happened that Yuna would remember for the rest of her life. She had a coughing fit so bad that she could not breathe. Her body curled up on the ground. She thought she might die right there, alone in a cave on an alien planet. But she was not alone. Bomi stilled. The cub became completely frozen, like a statue. Its eyes were wide, fixed on Yuna. For a moment, nothing moved. Not the cub. Not the air. Not anything. Then, slowly, so slowly, Bomi moved toward her. The cub pressed its head against her chest, right where her heart was beating too fast. Right where the coughs were coming from. It did not move away. It stayed there, head pressed against her, like it was trying to protect her heart. Like it was trying to keep her alive with nothing but its presence. A low rumbling sound came from the cub's throat. Not a growl, not a purr. Something in between. Something warm. something that vibrated through Yuna's chest and into her bones. The sound did not cure her. It could not. But it made her feel something she had not felt since the crash. She felt safe. She felt loved. She felt like she mattered to something in this universe. Tears ran down her face. She was too weak to wipe them away. "Thank you," she whispered. Her voice was almost gone. "Thank you, Bomi." The cub did not move. It stayed pressed against her chest, rumbling that soft, warm sound. All through the night, when morning came, the fever was a little lower. Still dangerous. Still scary. But lower. Yuna could think more clearly now. She could drink water without spilling it. She could sit up without falling over. The communication device crackled. "Yuna? Yuna, please answer. You did not respond yesterday. Please tell me you are okay." Taiho. His voice was worried. So worried she reached for the device with shaking hands. Bomi watched her but did not move from its spot near her. "I am here," she said. Her voice sounded like broken glass. "I am sick. Something in the air or water. Alien pathogen. My body is fighting it. How bad?" "Bad, but I think I will survive. I am getting a little better today." There was silence. Then Taiho spoke again. "We are coming to find you. We built a better radio. We can track your signal now. We will be there in 2 days, maybe 3. Can you hold on that long?" 2 days. 3 days. Could she survive that long? She looked at Bomi. The cub looked back at her. There was determination in those yellow eyes. "A promise." "I will hold on," Yuna said. "Just find me." "We will. I promise. Stay strong, Yuna." The connection ended. Yuna lay back down. She was so tired. But the fever was dropping more now. Her body was learning how to fight this new sickness. Humans were good at that. Surviving. Adapting. Fighting. And she was not fighting alone. Bomi curled up next to her again. The cub put its head on Yuna's arm, careful not to press on anything that hurt. Its eyes closed. Its breathing became slow and peaceful. Outside the cave, in the shadows of the jungle, yellow eyes watched. The pack was there, always watching. But they made no move to enter. They made no sound at all. Maybe they understood what was happening. Maybe they saw their young cub protecting this strange creature from another world. Maybe they were waiting to see what would happen. Or maybe, just maybe, they felt something too. Something that made them stay back. Something that made them let this human live. Yuna did not know. She was too tired to think about it. She closed her eyes and slept. And for the first time since getting sick, she dreamed of good things. She dreamed of home. She dreamed of the sea. She dreamed of a small cub pressing its head against her chest, telling her without words that she would be okay, that she would survive this. She knew it now, because she was not alone anymore. 3 days passed on the jungle planet. Yuna learned to survive. She found water and large leaves that collected rain. She found fruit that looked safe to eat. The scanner in her emergency bag told her which plants were poison and which were okay. She was getting better at this, but she was still alone. Her communication device worked sometimes. Broken signals. Static. Once, she heard Taiho's voice for a few seconds. He was alive somewhere on the planet. That gave her hope. But she could not find him. The jungle was too big, and she was too hurt to travel far. On the 4th morning, Yuna decided to explore a new area. She needed to find better shelter. The small cave was getting wet when it rained, and her wounds were not healing well because of it. She walked carefully through the jungle. By now, she knew the Velki were always watching. She saw their shadows sometimes, their yellow eyes in the dark, but they never attacked. They just watched. It was strange. The reports said they were aggressive hunters. Why did they leave her alone? She did not have an answer. Around midday, she heard a sound that made her stop. It was different from the other jungle sounds. It was a cry, small and weak, like a baby animal in pain. Yuna followed the sound carefully. Her medical training made her want to help, even when her survival training told her to stay away. The sound led her to a small clearing where sunlight came through the trees. What she saw made her heart break. A dead Velki lay on the ground. It was a female, Yuna could tell. Beautiful dark green fur, now covered in blood. Something had killed her. Another predator, maybe. Or maybe she was hurt in the ship crash. Parts of the haniel had fallen all over this area, and next to the dead mother was a cub. The baby Velki was small, about the size of a large dog. Its fur was lighter than its mother's, more gray than green. It was crying and pushing its head against its mother's body, trying to wake her up. But the mother would not wake up. She had been dead for a while. Yuna stood very still. The cub had not seen her yet. She should leave. She knew she should leave. This was a wild predator. Even a baby one could be dangerous. And if the pack came back and found her near the dead mother, they might think she killed it. But the cub was hurt. She could see blood on its back leg. It was limping when it moved. And it was alone. So alone. A thought about her own mother. About how lost she would feel without her. About how scared this little creature must be right now. She made a decision that was probably stupid. But she was human. And humans sometimes do stupid things for the right reasons. She stepped into the clearing slowly. The cub saw her and stopped crying. It crouched low, ears flat against its head. A small growl came from its throat. A warning. "It is okay," Yuna said softly. Her voice was the only weapon she had right now. "I am not going to hurt you. I want to help." The cub did not understand her words, of course. But maybe it understood her tone. Animals on Earth could do that. Maybe animals here could too. She took another step. The cub growled louder. But it did not run. It could not run, Yuna realized. Its hurt leg would not let it move fast. Slowly, very slowly, Yuna sat down on the ground. She made herself small. Not a threat. She reached into her bag and took out a piece of fruit. She had saved it for later, but this was more important. She held out the fruit. "Are you hungry?" "You must be hungry." The cub looked at her, then at the fruit, then back at her. Its yellow eyes were so big, so scared, but also curious. Minutes passed. Yuna's arm got tired, but she kept holding the fruit out. Patient, calm. Finally, the cub moved. One careful step, then another. It sniffed the air. The fruit smell was strong and sweet. It came closer. So close now that Yuna could see the details of its face. The small whiskers, the soft fur around its ears, the fear in its eyes. The cub took the fruit from her hand. Its teeth touched her fingers, but it did not bite. It ate quickly, like it had not eaten in days. It probably had not. "Good," Yuna whispered. "That is good. Now let me look at your leg." She moved very slowly. Any fast movement could scare the cub away, or make it attack. She took out her medical scanner and her bandages. The cub watched her with big eyes. The wound on its leg was bad, deep, infected already. Without treatment, the cub would die. Maybe in a few days. Maybe sooner. "This is going to hurt a little," Yuna said. She did not know why she kept talking. The cub did not understand, but it felt right. It felt human. She cleaned the wound. The cub cried out and tried to pull away, but Yuna held its leg gently and kept working. She put medicine on the wound. She wrapped it in clean bandages. The whole time, she talked in a soft voice. Calm words. Gentle sounds. When she was done, the cub looked at its leg. Then it looked at Yuna. Something changed in its eyes. The fear was still there, but something else too. Something like confusion. Like it was trying to understand why she helped it. Yuna stood up slowly. I have to go now. You should find your pack. They will take care of you. She turned and started walking back toward her cave. She did not expect the cub to follow, but it did. She heard its small footsteps behind her. She turned around. The cub stopped. It sat down and looked at her, waiting. No, Yuna said. You cannot come with me. Go find your family. She started walking again. The footsteps followed. She stopped, turned. The cub sat down again. Its tail moved a little. Not quite wagging, but close. This happened 3 more times. Yuna would walk. The cub would follow. She would stop. The cub would wait. Finally, she gave up. Fine, she said. But only until your leg is better. Then you have to go back to the wild. Understand? The cub tilted its head. It did not understand. But it followed her anyway. That night in her small cave, Yuna was not alone. The cub slept near the entrance. Not too close to her, but not far away either. It kept one eye half open, watching her. Her communication device crackled. Taiho's voice came through, broken but clear enough. Yuna? Yuna, can you hear me? She grabbed the device. Taiho, I can hear you. Where are you? I made it to high ground. I can see smoke from other pods. I think there are survivors. Are you okay? I am hurt but alive. I am in a cave somewhere. I do not know exactly where. Stay safe. The Velki are everywhere. I saw them hunting today. They are dangerous, Yuna. Very dangerous. Do not go near them. Yuna looked at the cub sleeping by her cave entrance. She decided not to tell Taiho about it. I will be careful, she said. Contact me again tomorrow. I will try. Stay alive, Yuna. The connection died. Yuna lay down on the hard ground. The cub made a small sound in its sleep. Almost like a purr. Almost like it felt safe. She closed her eyes. Tomorrow she would figure out what to do. Tonight, she just needed to rest. And for the first time since the crash, she was not completely alone. The alarm screamed through the ship like a dying animal. Red lights flashed everywhere. Yuna grabbed the edge of her medical table as the whole vessel shook hard. She heard metal breaking somewhere below her feet. The sound was terrible. All crew to emergency pods. The captain's voice came through the speakers, but it was broken and hard to hear. We are going down. Repeat, we are going. The voice stopped. More alarms. More shaking. Yuna ran through the narrow hallway. Her heart was beating so fast she could feel it in her throat. She was the only medic on the research vessel Haniel, and she had been on this ship for 3 years. She knew every corner, every room, every escape route. But nothing prepared her for this. The ship hit something. Maybe atmosphere. Maybe a mountain. She did not know. All she knew was that her body flew through the air and hit the wall. Pain exploded in her left side. She tasted blood in her mouth. Taiho! She screamed. Taiho was her closest friend on the ship. He worked in communications. He was supposed to meet her at Pod 7. Taiho, where are you? No answer came. The ship was falling faster now. Through a small window, Yuna could see green. So much green. Trees. A jungle planet. They had been studying it from orbit for 2 weeks. They called it Noxeek because everything on it was green. The science team said it was beautiful. They said it was full of life. They also said it was dangerous. Yuna crawled toward the emergency pod. Her ribs hurt badly. Maybe broken. Maybe just bruised. She would check later. If there was a later, she reached Pod 7. The door was stuck. She pulled and pulled, but it would not open. The ship shook again, and she fell to her knees. Smoke was filling the hallway now. She could not breathe well. "Come on," she whispered to the door. "Please, please open." She pulled one more time with all her strength. The door opened so fast that she fell backward into the pod. She hit the button to close the door and strap herself in. The pod's computer started talking in a calm voice, like nothing bad was happening. "Emergency launch in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. The pod shot out of the dying ship. Through the small window, Una watched the Haniel break apart in the sky. Pieces of metal fell like burning stars. Her home for 3 years was gone in seconds. She wanted to cry, but there was no time. The pod was falling too fast. The jungle was coming up to meet her. Trees as tall as buildings filled her view. The pod's parachute opened, but it was not enough. She was going to hit hard. She closed her eyes and thought of her mother back on Earth. She thought of the small house in Bizen where she grew up. She thought of the sea and the smell of fish and salt. The pod crashed. Everything went black. When Una opened her eyes, she did not know how much time had passed. Minutes? Hours? The pod was on its side. Broken glass was everywhere. Her whole body hurt, but she was alive. She was alive. She unstrapped herself carefully and crawled out of the broken pod. The air outside was warm and wet. It smelled like plants and something else. Something animal. The jungle was loud with sounds she had never heard before. Birds that were not really birds. Insects that were not really insects. Her training came back to her slowly. Check for injuries first. She looked at her body. Her left arm had a deep cut. Her ribs were definitely bruised, maybe cracked. Her head hurt, but she could think clearly. That was good. She found her emergency bag in the pod. Medical supplies. Water tablets. A small knife. A communication device that was probably broken. She took everything. The sun was going down. Or what passed for a sun on this planet. The light was turning orange and pink through the tall trees. It would have been beautiful if she was not so scared. She needed to find shelter. She needed to find other survivors. She needed to stay alive. Una started walking. Every step hurt, but she kept going. The jungle floor was soft with old leaves and strange moss. The trees were so big that she felt like an ant. Some of them had bark that glowed a soft blue color. The science team would have loved to study them. After walking for what felt like an hour, she found a small hill with rocks at the top. It would be a good place to see around her. She climbed up slowly, holding her hurt ribs. When she reached the top, she saw the smoke from the Haniel crash in the distance. It was far away. Too far to walk tonight. But maybe tomorrow she could search for other survivors. Maybe Taiho made it out. Maybe others did too. Then she felt it. Eyes on her back. The feeling was so strong that her whole body went cold. She turned around slowly. In the shadows between 2 giant trees. She saw them. Eyes. Many pairs of eyes. They glowed yellow in the fading light. The creatures were big. As big as tigers, maybe bigger. They had fur that was dark green, almost black. They watched her without moving. Without making any sound. Velki. That was what the science team called them. The apex predators of Noxeek. The report said they were smart. Smarter than any animal on Earth. They hunted in packs. They never attacked alone. Una stopped breathing. She remembered the safety briefing. Do not run. Running makes you prey. Do not look away. Looking away is weakness. Do not show fear. But she was afraid. She was so afraid. The Velki watched her for a long moment. One of them, The biggest one tilted its head like it was curious about her, like it was trying to understand what she was. Then, as quietly as they appeared, they melted back into the shadows, gone, like ghosts. Yuna let out a breath she did not know she was holding. Her legs were shaking. Her hands were shaking. But she was still alive. She found a small cave in the rocks and made it her shelter for the night. She did not sleep much. Every sound made her jump. Every shadow looked like yellow eyes, but morning came. She survived the first night. And somewhere in the jungle, the Velki were still watching.